Nutrition, 5th edition, Chapter 6, Protein and Amino Acids. This is Carrie Erickson. Why is protein important? Many vital compounds are proteins, including enzymes, hormones, transport proteins, and regulation of both acid, base, and fluid balance. The different types of amino acids are indispensable, also known as essential amino acids. The body cannot make it all or cannot make enough of these to meet physiological needs. Essential amino acids must be supplied in the diet. Dispensable, also known as non-essential amino acids, the body can make if supplied with adequate nitrogen. Non-essential amino acids do not need to be supplied in the diet. And conventionally indispensable, also known as conventionally essential amino acids, are normally made in the body but become essential under certain circumstances, such as during critical illness. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. Proteins are long chains of amino acids. Amino acids are composed of a central carbon atom bonded to a carboxyl amino and side group. Amino acids are identified by their side groups. At least 20 amino acids are important in human nutrition. 9 of these amino acids are considered essential, which must come from the diet, while the body can make the other 11 non-essential amino acids. The structure of protein. Protein has a unique three-dimensional shape and functions. The amino acid sequence of a protein determines its shape and its function. Here you can see the amino acid sequence and the protein shape. Protein denaturation. This destabilizing a protein shape. Denaturing a protein changes their shape and therefore also their functional properties. The functions of protein in the body. You can see with the functions of protein in the body here, protein is used for structure, enzymes, hormones, antibodies, fluid balance, acid-base balance, channel and pumps, and also transport. The functions of body protein. The structural and mechanical function. Proteins provide structure to all cells, including hair, skin, nail, and bones. As part of muscle, they transform energy into mechanical movement. For the enzymes, enzymes catalyze, which means they speed up reactions that make or change substances, and also enzymes catalyze reactions that break down muscle. Hormones. Hormones are formed in one part of the body and carried in the blood to a different location where they signal cells to alter activities. Immune function. Protein antibodies are a crucial line of defense against invading bacteria and viruses. Fluid base, or fluid balance, Fluid balance. Blood proteins attract fluid into capillaries. This counteracts the force of the heart beating, which pushes fluid out of capillaries. And the acid-base balance. Protein helps maintain stable pH levels. Protein acts as buffers. When conditions are acidic, they pick up extra hydrogen ions. When conditions are alkaline, they donate hydrogen ions. The functions of body protein. They have transport functions, and they also can serve as a source of energy and glucose when there are no carbohydrates or fat available for energy. Protein digestion and absorption. Protein digestion begins in the stomach through the action of hydrochloric acid and the enzyme pepsin. In the stomach, proteins are denatured by hydrochloric acid. Pepsin begins digestion. In the small intestine, pancreatic and intestinal proteases and peptidases complete digestion. amino acids are absorbed into the bloodstream. And you have undigested protein also. With amino acid and peptide absorption, proteins are completely digested in the small intestine and absorbed by facilitated diffusion and active transport. Figure 615 in your textbook shows the process of this occurring. The protein absorption into an intestinal cell. The intestinal cells use active transport and facilitated diffusion to absorb the amino acids. And once again, this is on figure 615 in your textbook. Protein synthesis. Protein synthesis, ribosomes are our protein synthesis factories. mRNA carries manufacturing instructions from DNA in the cell nucleus to the ribosomes. tRNA collects amino acids in the correct sequence, and rRNA in the ribosome directs protein synthesis. For the amino acid pool and the protein turnover, cells draw upon their amino acid pool to synthesize new proteins. These small pools turn over quickly and must be replenished by amino acids from dietary protein and degradation of body protein. Dietary protein supplies about 1/3, and the breakdown of body protein supplies about 2/3 of the amino acids needed to synthesize roughly 300 grams of body protein daily. Protein and nitrogen excretion. Protein-nitrogen balance reflects whether a person is gaining or losing protein. A pregnant woman is adding protein, so she has a positive nitrogen balance. A healthy person may be neither gaining nor losing protein. They're known to be in nitrogen equilibrium. And a person who is severely ill and losing protein has a negative nitrogen balance. Proteins in the diet. Dietary protein is found in meats, dairy products, legumes, grains, and vegetables. In general, animal foods contain higher quality protein than what is found in plant foods. Recommended intake: the adult RDA is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, where an infant's RDA is 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. Protein needs are highest when growth is rapid, such as during infancy, childhood, and adolescence. Physical stress can also increase protein needs, and protein consumption. The protein intake of most Americans excretes what their RDA actually is. The quality of protein. There's complete proteins, which supply all the essential amino acids. These are animal proteins and soy proteins. There's incomplete proteins, which means they are low in one or more essential amino acid. These are most of your plant proteins. Complementary proteins is by taking two incomplete proteins combined, which equals a complete protein. Evaluating the protein quality. Evaluating the protein quality, they talk about chemical or amino acid scoring. This is a method to determine the protein quality of a food by comparing its amino acid composition with that of a reference protein. The protein efficiency ratio is a protein quality calculated by comparing the weight gain of growing animals fed a test protein with growing animals fed a high-quality reference protein. It depends on both the digestibility and the amino acid composition of a protein. The net protein utilization is the percentage of ingested protein, nitrogen retained by the body. It measures the amount of dietary protein the body actually uses, and the biological value is the extent to which protein in a food can be incorporated into body protein. This is expressed as the percentage of the absorbed dietary nitrogen retained by the body. And the last one, the protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. This is a measure of protein quality that takes into account the amino acid composition of the food and the digestibility of the protein. It's calculated by multiplying the amino acid score by the percentage of the digestible food protein. Proteins in the diet. Estimating your protein intake. Protein and amino acids as additives and supplements. You can use food labels or exchange list values to estimate your protein intake. Eating a diet that follows my plate will supply adequate amounts of protein. Supplements of protein or amino acids are rarely necessary and might even be harmful. Vegetarian diets. Why do people become vegetarians? Could be religion, concern for the environment, cruelty to animals. They believe it's healthier. There's different types of vegetarians. There is a lacto-ovo-vegetarian, semi-vegetarian, and a vegan. The lacto-ovo-vegetarian only includes dairy products and eggs. They exclude any other animal flesh. The semi-vegetarian includes dairy products, eggs, chicken, and fish, but they exclude red meats, beef and pork. And the vegan, they exclude all animal products, so they do not eat any animal products whatsoever. The health benefits versus the health risk. Usually there's less fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol. Restrictive diets may lack nutrients, such as vitamin B12 if there's no animal foods, and careful planning needs to be done for children, pregnant women. Vegetarian diets. The dietary recommendations for vegetarians is choose a variety of foods, choose whole, unrefined foods often, a variety of fruits and vegetables, lower fat dairy products, and use a regular source of vitamin B12. The health effects of too little or too much protein. With too little protein, protein energy malnutrition is a protein deficiency that's most common in developing countries and results in the conditions known as marasmus and kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor is a type of malnutrition that occurs primarily in young children who have an infectious disease and whose diets supply marginal amounts of energy and very little protein. Common symptoms include poor growth, edema, apathy, weakness, and susceptibility to infections. Marasmus is a type of malnutrition resulting from chronic inadequate consumption of protein and energy. That is characterized by wasting of muscle. And there's a picture, figure 620 in your textbook, of kwashiorkor and marasmus. Edema in the feet and legs and a bloated belly are symptoms of kwashiorkor. Children with marasmus are short and thin for their age and can appear frail and wrinkled. And then the health effects of too much protein: heart disease, obesity, osteoporosis, and cancer. Also, too much protein, excess dietary protein can cause kidney function, mineral losses, obesity, heart disease, cancer, and gout. This concludes part 1 of chapter 6, proteins and amino acids. Part 2 will go through some of the highlights of the chapter.